Do you really?
Yes, I do.
You couldn't wait, could you?
What's that?
You couldn't wait.
Well, you know what? I went out there the other day and I bought a quart of peach they had, and they had blueberry sherbet.
Oh, really?
Blueberry sherbet is fantastic.
If I remember right, it's been forever since I've gone there. But their sherbet was always
It is. It's great. This week they have watermelon. I should go out and get some.
right. Yeah, you really should. I was running late. My wife and Lori, a couple of people she works with, they're all going up to Lake something Indian, and they're had to meet a couple houses up, and naturally they had to meet at 5:15. And unload everything and load it all back up. And so I'm looking at her. I'm like, okay, here we go. And I almost made it back in time. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too late. Wasn't too late.
She got a camping weekend.
Yeah, they're getting up there tonight. It's going to take them about 2 hours to get up there, maybe 2.5, depending on how they drive. Well, and then I want to say they're coming home Sunday.
Yeah. So you got a bachelor weekend.
Not only do I have a bachelor weekend, I took the whole weekend off.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I took tomorrow off at my real job, and Saturday and Sunday at my side gig. And I'll be honest with you, if I get my way, I never leave my living room.
Oh, really?
We'll see.
Well, tomorrow, I probably won't be on at all the next 3 Fridays.
You're going to you get headed south?
Well, tomorrow is our annual 36-hole golf tournament up at Conneaut Lake.
Good thing it wasn't today.
Yeah, I know. I would have reneged on the day off and stayed home. Then I'll be gone south the next 2 Fridays.
So you'll be on Thursdays, though?
Next Thursday, yeah.
Next Thursday, not the 2 after, though.
Right. Well, just the one. That would be it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Master Grant's not going to be on today. He sent me a very wordy explanation that work is bogging him down. I was like, dude, why didn't you just tell me work's bogging you down? You're at work. What are you going to do?
I just finished something with work too before you got. Wow, you texted me. I'm going to be late. I'm like, good. I'm still doing a quote, trying to get it done because I won't be around tomorrow.
Did I tell you I got the data analytics thing done? I got that certification.
Yeah, you did.
I had that. Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
They're asking me about you.
Yeah. That's why I'm not getting any callbacks. I really got to start changing people.
Yeah. You know what? You know how fast HR works these days.
Yeah.
It's just they do not move.
No, they don't, but they expect you to. That's for damn sure. And you know what? I'm getting hits, and I can't tell you. I must have been on or 4 or 5 interviews already. And I'll be honest with you, I'm at that age where I'm a little bit picky about who I decide to jump ship for.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell you how many of them are either virtual, right? They're either virtual, number one. Number two, they're like going through an agency, like I don't want to say a temp agency, but like an interview agency where you have you're on video, right? They pop a question up on the screen and you have to answer it. And like, excuse me, a lot of their screening process, because one of the ways to get in contact with me is over WhatsApp. I'm actually getting messages over WhatsApp asking me, basically it's more like demographic questions, but nothing like serious interview questions, but just sort of, finding their way through things. I must have had 3 of them over the last 2 days of just the WhatsApp ones. Which I was shocked. I was like, oh, this is how they're doing it now. But I think, well, we just came out of a pandemic, so yeah, I suppose we are. It's been interesting though. It's been a real interesting ride so far, to say the least. So what do you think? What's been going on that you think we should talk about first?
Well,
There's a lot.
you know what? You got the damn ongoing, basically the what's left of the GOP that are now all fascists wanting to get rid of democracy. What's still, they all know damn well that Trump has a lie, but they want power. They don't give a shit. Did you see there were some Pennsylvania legislators in Arizona yesterday looking at the recount that is total bullshit?
Yep.
I don't know which ones were there. I didn't catch that, but Rachel did have them focused in last night on her show.
You think our asshole's one of them?
Elder.
No.
I'll bet Bernstein was there. I bet on
it. If Bernstein wasn't there, there was a representative for him there.
I wouldn't doubt it.
You think Kelly was there?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't doubt it.
I honestly, I would be surprised if Vogler was there. If Elder was there. He does not strike me as the type that's going to play this nonsense. And maybe I'm wrong. I've only been around. I've only interacted with him maybe a handful of times, but he never struck me as the type that will play this game.
No, I met him one time a number of years ago, and you know what? He's still to me the old-fashioned farmer Republican.
Yeah.
Because I think even when all this stuff was going on, I don't even think he didn't say one way or the other, which if you're silent, you're complicit.
Yeah, it tells you a lot.
Maybe he was afraid to.
Well, he's the Republicans we have out here, even still, where it doesn't matter what's going on. If there's an R behind the name, if there's an R that's running it, I'm never going to rock the boat. If I totally disagree with it, I'm just going to shut up.
Yeah, it's pretty much him.
Yeah, that's dude. That's a Mayberry Republican. Well, it used to be anyhow, until these jackasses, their kids started coming, started doing things. But whenever I moved out here, 20 some years ago, that's what we were surrounded with.
Yeah, you're right.
And I could deal with that. I didn't agree with them, but I never sat there and said, what the fuck? I just didn't agree with them.
Yeah.
Their kids, on the other hand.
Different breed now. Well, don't forget, when you moved out here, there was no Fox News.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I worked a lot of events over at the high school, our high school. And boy, the conversations that I would hear, the things that I would hear being said, I can tell you in all honesty, the Klan is alive and well here.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, it is.
I watch them go up and down the street.
Yeah, you do. You would think with all the traffic I get, I would see more. Well, I'm so far off the road.
But you're kind of far off.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I'm sitting, like the weather's nice, I'll be sitting out front and I just shake my head.
It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, and the part that kills me is, man, they're so convinced that they got a beat on this whole thing. They're so convinced that they know better than anybody, right? And These are the same people who don't even bother to, like, whenever they grow up, get married, and have a house, they don't even bother to leave, like, the area they're in. I mean, they literally go next door. You know, they don't even go to the other end of the township, right? They just, like, go a street or a house over or across the street.
There, I was laughing. We went down to my son's for a picnic Monday, and we were all sitting there talking about everybody get their vaccines, and well, my daughter-in-law's father even got his, and his ex was even shocked. She says, "You mean you got one? You weren't afraid of a chip?" But there's one of your old farmer Republicans.
Yep.
But she was laughing. She was, well, and your mom knows this woman.
Okay.
She worked with her.
I know
But she was laughing. She says, you got to deal with these Newcastle people that don't have a clue. We were talking about that. Same with the way you were working. They can't believe how many people have vaccines. They don't believe it.
Yeah.
She actually embarrassed a woman in front of a court proceeding to put her mask on.
If it's who I think it is, that should not come as a shock. That should not surprise anybody.
Yeah.
Because she don't play.
No, she don't. I was laughing. She said, after this woman told me twice she had a vaccination, she looked at her right in the eyes in court, said something. The woman took her mask out and put it on.
Atta girl. I'm pretty sure I see her twice a week.
So
I think so, yeah. In our TRX class, I'm pretty sure I see her twice a week. Yeah. Speaking of the whole COVID thing, have you ever seen a bigger bunch of idiots go crazy over a bunch of released emails than the Fauci ones?
Oh yeah, they even read them.
Well, they didn't. They can't fucking count their balls and get the same number twice. They didn't read them. They were told what Fox News told them what to do, or Breitbart, or fucking OAN, yeah, Newsmax. They all told them what to think because these clowns can't think for themselves anyhow.
But we're the sheep.
Yeah, we're the sheep. I said, you know what? I said it from the very beginning. These guys project. Period. End of story. They project. That's their strength. That's it. They just project what they are, and well.
Well, you know what? If it comes back to it was released from a lab, say, does that absolve Trump from being incompetent? In their eyes, it does.
Yeah, in a way, it just makes it worse because he was preaching this.
Yeah, so but he still didn't do a damn thing about it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it worse, right? Because okay, we'll give you that. Now his incompetence is worse because he knew where this shit came from, and he still did nothing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this shit was over his head now. It's like he had a grasp on this, and he still sacrificed you fuckers.
Yeah, well, here's a good quote right here. Republicans want to drag Dr. Fauci before Congress, but don't want to investigate January 6th edition. Make that make sense.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. At what point, Lou, and this is my biggest problem with the Democrats, okay? And this is one of the reasons that I'm an independent is because you're looking at how these guys are literally putting their necks on the chopping block handing the guy in the mask the axe and looking at him and saying, "I dare you to swing that." And the guy in the mask is cowering away. And you see this over and over and over again. They have all the ammunition they need. They have all the fight that they need. They have everything at their disposal to go after all these clowns. Okay? If Mitch McConnell ever gets reelected again, it wasn't because of his ability to get reelected. It was because of the Democrats' inability to mount any kind of attack against them. The fact that this Marjorie Taylor asshole Greene is still relevant is because the Democrats don't know what to do with her. Investigate her. Put her on the front page of every goddamn newspaper every day. Put McCarthy on the front page because he's getting investigated now because of this shit every day. I don't care if you spend $1 billion. You put their names and all this bullshit and you drag their names through the mud on the front page of every paper every goddamn day. And then you go after McConnell too. And I say, if you guys want to do this shit, this is what you're going to get for the next 2 years. This is what you got coming. And if what's his name, Sinema and the other asshole Democrat don't want to jump in line, you do the same shit to them.
You got to call them two out.
You're not going to have a government in 2 years.
No, you got to call those two out right now and say, if you paid attention to what's going on, you want bipartisanship, bring me 10 Republicans by this date, or you have to vote for all this stuff.
Yeah. Or we will make your life hell. We will make your life. We will cut your funding. We will cut your access to any of the party's funds. You're out. Because at this point, you're not a Democrat. At this point, you're not. You might as well put a Republican in there. At least it'll at least be honest. You know this clown's going to vote with the other Republicans. At least you know it ahead of time. The time for these games is over. It's over. And it's the Republicans who decided it was over. They're not going to play. They're not going to govern anymore. They're going to try to dictate. Well, fuck you. We're the people in charge of all three branches. Well, two branches, right? I mean, three: the House, the Senate, and the White House. We're the people in charge, not you. This is what's going to happen, and the Democrats just refuse to do it. And Lou, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
And it's been proven over and over. Any one of these, look at the last 20 years. Any Democrat that's tried to play the middle in a swing district is lost.
Yeah, and so Manchin's going to lose, and the whole time that he's playing this game and he's kneecapping the Democrats, it's going to be for nothing because he's going to lose anyhow. It happens every time, every single time. That clown should be strung up. He really should. He should be strung up. What kind of idealistic bullshit are you trying to pawn off? You've been playing this game for how long? How long have you been playing this game? How long have you had that seat? And all of a sudden you're just going to be real idealistic now and say, "Oh, I'm not going to do this because I have a conscience." The fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? He needs punched. I'm sorry.
You know, because right here's I don't know. Let me see who wrote this article. Republicans say election fraud theories made GOP voters stay home in New Mexico special election. Because they were waiting to see whether that was going to be a bellwether that to replace Deb Haaland. New Mexico, and the woman that won actually had 60% of the vote.
Yeah. I mean, this thing wasn't even close.
No, it was not.
Right. I mean, that was a blue district, but they were looking at they were trying to get a closer race. And I think, and this guy got buried.
Yeah, it wasn't even close what she did to him.
I mean, not knowing anything about that race. I mean, would this guy not stand a chance? Is she that popular? Is it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, did this guy have an actual chance of winning this thing? It didn't sound like it, but is it one of those things where it doesn't matter who runs? They're just not going to beat the Democrat. They're just looking to hopefully gain some ground to kind of like be a barometer for the midterms.
I think that's what they were looking for. I think if it would have drawn within maybe 4 or 5, they would have taken that as a good sign.
They almost would have took it as a win.
Yeah, you got to start pounding all these clowns. Another one, that Ron Johnson out of Wisconsin. You know what they do? They're making Democrats play defensive.
Yeah.
Keep talking. It was fraud. We don't need that. Wasn't an insurrection. You gotta put that film on TV every day. Here it is. Yeah, these are tourists.
Yeah. What somebody should have done was shown that on the floor and said, this is what my colleague is calling a bunch of tourists. I'm just going to leave that out there for you. This is what he's saying was a bunch of tourists.
Yeah, you know what? If I was on the floor of that house, I'd be putting it up and say, oh, by the way, here's Mo Brooks giving a tour to the insurrectionists the day before. Here's Kevin McCarthy whining to Trump to call your people off. Here's, point out, here's Gosar trying to hide and barricade the door. He was there when that woman got shot. Yeah, they're tourists. How about that?
How about that? It's amazing.
I would say, hey, Paul, you got skid marks. Did you have to throw that underwear away? Did you get skid marks in them when them tourists come in?
Yeah. Isn't it amazing what our Republican colleagues mistake for tourists? How the hell do we expect you guys to govern it at all? If this is what
there's still 5 to 10 cops off on leave with injuries because of them tourists.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting the ones that died.
Not counting the ones that died. And yet, no Democrat. You know who would have done that? Lou, I'm gonna throw a name at you haven't heard in a long time. You know who would have done that? Trafficant.
I knew you were going to say that. He'd be doing it every day just to piss him off. Yeah, every day just to piss him off.
Just to be an asshole. Even if he's wrong, he wouldn't care. He'd have done it anyhow.
Yes, he would.
Because he can. Well, that's not true. I mean, he was dirty as shit. And there was a lot of things, but my God, can you imagine if he was in Congress whenever this shit happened? He would be screaming. I mean, his throat would have exploded, right? My God, the shit he would have screamed. He would have been after. I mean, Pelosi would have had to beat him, with a whip to shut him up. He'd have lost his mind. We don't have that anymore.
No, and hell, if he was still there, he knows a couple guys. He might have had something done.
Can you imagine him saying on the floor, you know what? You guys want to call this thing a tourist? I know a guy. That would have been it, right? Fine. I know a guy.
Did you see one of the guys he knew passed away this last weekend?
You know what? Master Grant and I were talking about him. He had no idea who it was.
Yeah, you know what? I actually met a couple of those ones that were a little lower.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I honestly, it was actually surprising this guy lived as long as he did.
Yeah.
It really is. It's surprising. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, they did what they did, and they had their business, and you know what? If you're on up and up with them, you were fine.
Just don't play around. It's not hard. Just don't play around.
Yep.
You'll be all right. Biden being He offers to keep the 2017 Trump tax cuts. Okay. As a counteroffer to the GOP. This is the USA Today. In a concession to Republicans, Joe Biden proposed that instead of raising the corporate tax rate to pay for a bipartisan infrastructure package, they'd work to ensure corporations don't exploit tax loopholes. Okay, so he's willing to give in. The tweak proposal would no longer raise the corporate tax rate from 21 to 28%, relying on other funding instead of for components of the job plan, beefing up tax enforcement on the country's wealthiest earners and ensuring the largest corporations, some of which have avoided paying taxes because of loopholes, pay at least a minimum of 15%. So I'm not so sure. Emotionally, I don't agree with it. Logically, I think it's a good move on his part. What do you think?
You know what? I kind of agree with what he's doing. He's going to say, okay, let's see where you're at. You want bipartisanship. 15%. You know what? When 91 of the top 500 corporations didn't pay tax last year, what's 15% minimum on them 91 companies?
Right.
On loopholes.
Lou, how would you like to only pay 15%?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wish I only paid 15%.
Can you imagine the money you would spend? Can you imagine if everybody in our, I don't want to say tax bracket, but we're middle class. If everybody in the middle class, every single person in the middle class only paid 15%, how much disposable income we would have? Because where does Walmart make its money? Right? It's on us spending that money.
Right.
It's on us spending money there. How much money would they generate? How much money would they have? How much money would Bezos have?
You know what? That's what they don't see. And, you think about it. So, well, how come the millennials and Generation Zs or Xers aren't having kids? Well, they don't have any disposable income.
There's no money to have kids.
They're paying off loans and whatever else.
Right. There's no money there to have kids. And then you get these assholes that saying nobody wants to work anymore. I must have heard that 30 times in the last 2 weeks. Nobody wants to work anymore. No, everybody wants to work. Okay, here's the problem. No one wants to work for $7 an hour. Can you imagine the DD downtown? And I know you've been there. Can you imagine working there for $7 an hour? I'd have an ice pick in my pocket. I'd be stabbing people in the throat in their cars as they come up to the drive-thru.
Yeah.
You want me to do that for $7 an hour? Oh, and try to raise a family too? Oh, and let's not forget, you have a whole generation ahead of ours. You have a boomer generation who, hey, they're out of the workforce now.
Yeah, most of them are. I'm on the tail end, really. Me and Master Grant.
Right. I'm getting to that point. And I'm how many years younger than you? And I'm approaching that. Right? My wife hit it. My wife hit it in April. She's 2 years older than me. She hit it. She can stop working tomorrow.
If you have that many boomers retiring there and we need people to work, I don't know if you've seen in some of the areas now, I think I mentioned it last week. Do you see that? It's called Clavon's Ice Cream Parlor in Pittsburgh.
No.
Strip district down in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So they, of course, like any ice cream place around here, they kind of pretty much shut down in the winter.
Right.
So the owners opened up, looking for helpers. So they put the sign out, or ad through whatever now, and weren't getting any responses. I think they had one returning from last year, some, high school girl or something. So they said, well, let's see. They threw an ad there, $15 an hour. They got I don't know how many, it was like 500 plus applications. They ended up hiring, they were talking to some of the employees. Most of them were still, they were high school and early college. Guess what they said? $15 an hour. They're getting high productivity, no turnover, and the people are happy, and it has not touched their profits.
Right?
There's a couple other places in Pittsburgh now putting out ads for the same thing. As soon as you hit that 15, guess what? Oh, we got a bunch of applications.
You know why? Because people figured out that they can get by on $15 an hour.
You know what? You think about it. Those high school kids are going into college because some of them were from the all that Kappa school that's near there in Pittsburgh. It's on that end of town.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Those kids they're coming out of the Pittsburgh city schools for the most part, and that's kind of a feeder high school for performing arts going into college and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of those kids that now they're going to make money to put away, living at home to save for college and maybe a car or something to help get a little bit of a start.
Right.
You know what? When I got out of high school going to college, the minimum wage at that time, I probably made a little more than minimum, was a livable wage for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, and it would have been.
You know, because what the hell is, the wage hasn't gone up minimum in years. I mean, it's getting forced up in a lot of areas now to, I see a lot of these, I think even Sheets is going to $15 an hour now.
Sheets is I know that like the thing in the window says like if like manager there is making like 17 or 18. So you figure their counter work, the people who are working the counter, or even back where the hot foods are, they're probably making 14, 15 because managers there normally only make a couple of bucks more than the staff does. So yeah. They see the writing on the wall. Right? They do. It's silly. It's just silly that we're continuously playing this game. Pay people a wage that they can live on, and everybody benefits. I don't understand why this is so hard. Right?
There was who was the Will Rogers. Remember way back? He was comedian or however it was, but he had a lot of sayings that stick to this day. And one of them I remember was, he says, what rich people fail to realize, he had a couple on that. He said is if you give a poor man $1 in the morning, you'll have it back with interest in the afternoon. And they forget about that. If you give a rich man $1 in the morning, he'll put it in the bank because he can.
Yeah.
It was a couple sayings like that, which is true. That like that stimulus that went out. Well, anybody that was behind on bills and rent and food, it was spent immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody invested that.
The people in a higher range, they didn't have to spend it.
No, nobody invested that. Right? Nobody who that was supposed to go to invested it.
No.
They spent it. Maybe it was just to pay off a bill. Right? Maybe it was. But it was still money that isn't sitting in the bank. It was recirculated through the system. It was just going to a utility or a credit card. Well, which would have been a bank. But in any case, they're not reaping the benefits of that. They're not sitting on that interest. That money's not working for them. That money's gone. It came in, it went out. Wasn't that how you want money to flow? Anyhow? You want it to come in and go out. Yeah, you want to save some of it. But generally speaking, 75 cents on every dollar for the most part, when it comes in, you want it to go out because that's how your society grows. That's how your community grows. That's how these things happen.
Because on the GDP, what is it, about 80, 85% is consumer driven?
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, woo. That's what it is. That's what it is. And yet we refuse to just let people make a decent wage and to strengthen our economy. And if you're one of those people where you're making less than 50, or you're making more than that $15 minimum, guess what? You just became very valuable. Right? You just became extremely valuable. Because why would I work for you doing this high stress, low pay job when I can do a much lower stress, same paying job that I'm making now and be able to go home at night and not have to pull my hair out, and not have to wake up in the middle of the night wondering if I did shit right. Right? Why would I do it? But yet they fooled everybody. They fooled everybody.
You know, the strong unions after World War II is what drove up the white collar salaries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was it. If I'm sitting in an office as an accountant and I'm getting my balls busted, I'm thinking, you know what? I could go put cars together for more money.
Right.
And go home at night, get a shower, and not worry about a thing.
Right. Whenever all you got to do is just keep screwing in that bolt on 5 times, and then going to the next one and doing that same thing 5 times for what I'm making now. Why the fuck wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Oh, and hey, I'm gonna have a pension. I'm gonna have union protection. I'm gonna have money coming in if I lose my job. Why the hell wouldn't I do that? Where's the downside to this? Right? There's no downside to it. Benjamin Netanyahu looks like he's his days are numbered.
Yeah, I think you had posted something. Who's the person replacing him? Is he any better?
Well, the fact that I know nothing about what's going on over there, other than even the opposition isn't fighting this guy, tells you he's got to be better. Sure as fuck can't be any worse.
Yeah, I see. Backtracking a hair, this just changed over here. Headline: Biden woos GOP with tax concessions. Progressives rankled. I don't know. I kind of think he's playing a little bit of chess and saying, you know what, just sit still. We'll see if anybody comes. If they don't, I'm just proving to you these guys aren't bipartisan.
I always felt like Biden was playing the long game, right? I love the fact that he called on Manchin and Sinema. That much I loved. But for the most part, he's playing the long game. And I think in the end, that's going to pay off. You're just going to have to be a little bit patient with him. Because this guy knows what he's doing. However, that being said, he has an attack dog sitting next to him. And, man, sometimes you're just going to have to let her loose. Right? Because she'll go after anybody. She doesn't care.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe the fact that attack dog is there might keep some Democrats in line, and maybe in the back of Manchin's head, because she already did her shot across the bow, right? Maybe, just maybe, but I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't like what that clown's doing. I'll tell you this much. But I think Biden's doing smart. I think he's doing the right thing. What do you think?
I think he is. He knows he has a little time right now.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he's not even 6 months in yet.
No. No. And the midterms are going to start. Those races are going to start. They're going to start heating up a little bit, probably now. So we'll see.
What the Republicans, they're all in for power and this and that. And the thing I think of is the clowns that are there, that are the MAGAs and the real right wing. What they fail to see that I keep thinking about too is, say they go in a coup in 2 years and they're in charge, they're a dictator. The US dollar is the world's default currency. International Monetary Fund looks at that and says, can't have a dictatorship with the default currency. It's the euro. Then what happens?
Right. Now what? Now what?
Okay. What's our savings 401ks worth?
It's a good question.
What's our bond rating worth? Treasury bonds.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
These idiots, they can't see past the end of their nose into tomorrow, let alone a year down the line.
Well, they don't. They can't see much of anything. They're just told what to see. Derek Chauvin's looking for probation. What do you think the chances are of him getting it?
About the same chance as Trump getting reinstated in August.
You think? You think? Dude, his blog, he abandoned his blog. How bad is that?
Well, his followers don't read.
They can't.
That's why Twitter was perfect for him and his followers. 2 lines of nonsense.
Yep. Yep. Worked out just fine for everybody involved, didn't it? 2 lines of bullshit. Mike Lindell is going to file a lawsuit against election machine firms Dominion and Smartmatic, where he claims rigged the 2020 election. There's going to be stuff in this lawsuit that's not been done before. I almost want to see this. Dude, honest to God, I don't know who's hopped up more often, him or Don Jr. I mean, their noses, the interior of their noses have to be just absolutely destroyed by now, with as much coke as they're storing. You know?
Yeah, Junior looks pretty bad.
He acts pretty bad. And just to finish this up, the story that nobody wants to talk about. The fight between Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul Sunday. Do you care?
I didn't even know it till now.
That'd be a no.
I remember when I used to follow boxing.
Well, this isn't real boxing, but just to let you know, the rules: no winner or judges, KOs allowed, 8 3-minute rounds, 12-ounce gloves, no headgear, and there's a 190-pound weight limit that, trust me, Mayweather is never going to hit. I want to. I want to watch it just because I want to see Mayweather absolutely destroy this punk. And I don't mean like win. I don't want him to win. Okay, a win is not it. I want this kid, this asshole, to be so motherfucking humiliated that he can't make a dime whenever he gets back into the ring again, because he's going to. I want this kid just absolutely destroyed, and then I want his asshole brother to be next. And I don't even like Mayweather. Maybe I'll just creatively acquire it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't even know. I'm sure this is on pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a pay-per-view.
Logan Paul, watch live pay-per-view.
Honestly, I may, like I said, I may creatively acquire it.
Will fight social media sensation. So who is this guy?
Logan Paul. Yeah, you never heard of this family? These fuck ups?
No.
Oh my god. You know what? Just look them up. I don't even want to talk about them.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Well, that's the pay-per-view.
Honestly, you don't even want to you don't even want to waste your. I feel bad.
Yeah, I get. I'm on. I do a couple. I'm gonna say. Surveys I get online. You know, you accumulate points, you get gift cards.
Uh-huh.
And every once in a while, they'll throw one at me, and what do you think of these people? And then they'll go, there is a category, social media influencers. And on pretty much every one, I'm like, never heard of, never heard of, never heard of, never heard of. Like, who the hell are these? What the hell is a social media influencer? And you're talking about somebody that knows who Bam Margera is, and you know,
Uh-huh.
is an American YouTuber, internet personality, actor, podcaster, and professional boxer. He's going to get it. Look, just looking at his face, Merriweather's just going to punch it just because it needs punched.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What he's going to do to this clown is it should be well, it's probably legal in like 15 states, is my guess. At least it should be.
Yeah, he. Logan Paul. I didn't choose boxing. Boxing chose me. Okay.
All right. Here we go.
That's enough of that shit. I guess if it wasn't $50, I might have to turn it on and watch an ass whooping.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. I really don't feel like paying that much. I really don't feel like giving that clown that, even a percentage of that. Oh, well. Lou, what do you say we kill it here?
All right.
Folks, we'll be back tomorrow. Wait, let me remember. Are you going to be back tomorrow?
No, I'll be probably driving home about then, or I'm with a couple other guys, or hopefully we're done. And so coming back from Conneaut.
Okay. Well, you won't be here. Master Grant won't be here. We may be canceling tomorrow. Who knows? Okay, everybody. Anyhow, thank you. We will be back tomorrow. We will let you know. Same bad time, same bad channel. Okay, everybody. We'll see you. Goodbye. Oh, I'm sorry. Goodbye, good luck, and God bless.